coming out here after 30 years. Yeah, I ain't got nothing, but I'm gonna have something because I'm rich in personality, you know, and I'm rich in love. My family love me, and that's really all that counts. Hey man, shout out to everybody out there on Team Banky Pound, man. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the support. Let's make sure we recording. Let's see. Yeah, we are recording. So let's get it. Let's go, man. Big love to everybody who support the movement, everybody who support the platform, man. As you can see, I'm gonna do a reaction video today because I was told to do a reaction video on this thing that everybody kept sending me. I think it's called 7 Red Onion inmates that were too dangerous for America. I actually know about 4 of these dudes out of the 7, which is crazy. The dude you see on the screen, I actually know him. You know him from the inside, know him from the outside. Ran into him, had a couple of interactions with him on the outside since I've been out. I think he passed away about 2 years ago, shortly after I had talked to him or whatnot. But yeah, that's a whole nother story. But I wanted to do the reaction on one dude out of the 7. If y'all like the reactions, I will do some more on the ones that I do know also involved in this video. But this dude in particular, I wanted to do the reaction on because people, what they're saying in here is a lot of inconsistencies and a lot of things behind the scene that y'all may not know that I wanted to, you know, clarify for y'all if possible. But it was a crazy situation, man. But I'm gonna go ahead on and try to start this thing, and we'll just take it from there. But y'all talk to me, man. In the comments, I talk back. Y'all know the routine. Let's get it.
And the long-standing doubts about his guilt. He was released from Deerfield Correctional Center in Southampton County on December 4th, 2017 at age 60, relocating to Salem, Virginia, where he lived quietly while working with the Innocence Project, assisting with clemency petitions, and speaking at universities against the death penalty. Giarratano maintained his innocence until his death on October 6, 2024, at age 67, from natural causes at home. His time at Red Onion epitomized the facility's role in containing not just violent offenders, but also those whose intellectual resistance challenged the system. Even his questions about his conviction underscored the perils of unreliable confessions and flawed justice. Number 5. Robert C. Gleason Jr. Robert Charles Gleason Jr. was born on November 10, 1970, in Lowell, Massachusetts, where he grew up in a working-class family amid the industrial decline of the area. As a young adult, he developed a reputation for volatility, with a history of minor criminal offenses, including assaults and drug-related issues that reflected his struggles with anger and substance use. By his 30s, Gleason had relocated to Virginia, settling in Amherst County, where he operated a tattoo parlor and became entangled in local drug networks. In May 2007, he committed his first documented murder, the strangulation of Michael Kent Jamerson, a 27-year-old associate who had been cooperating with federal authorities as an informant in a drug investigation targeting Gleason. Jamerson's body was discovered bound and burned in a remote wooded area near the James River, with evidence showing he had been tortured before death. Gleason, suspecting Jamerson's betrayal after noticing a wire during a conversation, acted to eliminate the threat to his operations. Authorities arrested Gleason on May 8, 2007, following tips from witnesses who placed him with Jamerson on the night of the disappearance. A search of his home uncovered items linking him to the crime, including duct tape and gasoline residue. He was charged with first-degree murder, abduction, and arson. During his 2008 trial in Amherst County Circuit Court, prosecutors presented forensic evidence and testimony detailing Gleason's premeditated actions, while his defense argued diminished capacity due to intoxication. On April 22, 2008, the jury convicted him on all counts, but after deliberating on his extensive criminal history and the brutality involved, they recommended life imprisonment without parole instead of the death penalty. Judge J. Michael Gamble imposed the sentence, sending Gleason to Wallens Ridge State Prison, a maximum security facility in Big Stone Gap, Virginia, known for housing violent offenders. At Wallens Ridge, Gleason's behavior escalated rapidly. On May 8, 2009, exactly 2 years after Jamerson's murder, he killed his 63-year-old cellmate, Harvey Watson Jr., a convicted rapist serving time for sexual offenses. Gleason bound Watson with bedsheets torn into strips, strangled him over several hours, and taunted guards afterward, admitting the act and expressing no remorse. He later explained in court that he targeted Watson for being a snitch who had informed on other inmates, but his primary motive was to force the state to execute him, as he preferred death over life in prison.
All right, now see, that's where it get a little shady right there, right? Now, the dude that they say that he killed in 2008 was so-called convicted rapist. Don't know about that. Could be true. But it said that he also was a snitch, and this was the reason why he killed him. I don't think that part is true. The dude that he actually killed, which they're leaving out, is trying to make him seem like he's this big bad wolf or whatever. The dude that he actually killed came to Wallace Ridge with me. I was on the same bus that went to Wallace Ridge with the dude that he killed. Also on this bus, I explained to y'all, if y'all been in following me for a while, that was the same bus that somebody else had lost their life on the bus in our transition going to Wallace Ridge from Sussex 2. That was when they bound and chained the dude so much and cut off his circulation, he ended up dying. So we was delayed getting there about hours and hours and hours because of the death on the bus, right? Crazy work. This is prison, y'all. This is real life stuff. Life and death, as you can see, right? So the dude that they're talking about that he ended up killing, we went in the same block. It was like 4 of us. We go in the same block. Matter of fact, I'm in the cell at the time, I think, with Knockout. Shout out to Knockout, right? The dude, what they're not telling y'all is he's 67 years old, yeah, but he was probably like 5'5", 5'4", 125 pounds. He was an old, little, frail white guy. He couldn't even defend himself. He had a big mouth. He ran his mouth. He was crazy. He was literally delusional. He was gone. This is the same dude I told y'all had 2 or 3 missing teeth. He used to walk around swishing the teeth around in his mouth because when he lost them, he just kept them. He didn't throw them away, and he kept them. He would switch them around in his mouth and be talking to himself. He'll spit them out when he go to eat something. He was eating out of the trash can. When dudes take and throw food away, if they finish with a meal, got a little bit on the tray or something, or a little bit on the whatever they bowl and they dump it in, he would go literally to the trash can in the part and get the food out and start eating it right there. Right there. If somebody say something to him, he'll snap out like, mind your business. Mind your business. Don't worry about me. He would do that. He was real, aggressive, but he was basically harmless because he was a little guy. You know what I'm saying? So people would overlook that because you're not going to get no points doing that to a little old guy like that. You know what I'm saying? He couldn't do nothing. So he just really just all mouth. He cussed the police out, this, that, and the third. This is how he ended up going to Wallace Ridge. This shows you, too, how diabolical the system is. Because they'll send a man like that who they know was harmless besides his mouth, defenseless. They'll send him up there to Wallace Ridge. You know what I'm saying? Because they ain't care nothing about him. Maybe because they, deemed that he, was a rapist or whatever. Maybe. I don't know. But he was harmless, man. He ran his mouth. He used to cuss the police out when he got there. He was trying to get his medicine all the time. Get my medicine. They was getting ready to shoot him. I told y'all this, and he was like, show me there. I don't care. Get my medicine. And he was going crazy, right? So they put him in the cell with this guy. And when he was in the cell with this guy, he would come out and get his medicine and raise hell all the time when he didn't have his medicine on time. That man ended up then coming out for 2 or 3 days, and they was like, where is he at? Where is he at? All the time, he had choked the man out, stuffed something in his mouth, put him in his bunk, and covered him up. Now, mind you, they doing 3 or 4 counts a day, and they don't notice that this man is in there dead. You understand what I'm saying? Because he done covered the man up. I think, too, they left out, he put a sponge in his mouth and stuffed it. and just covered him up and put a blanket over top of him. Now, for that dude sound diabolical. That dude sound like he like a big bad wolf, but he was scared. He wouldn't even come out of his cell, bro. We didn't even. I barely seen this dude. He in the block. He wouldn't even come out for rec. He was scared. You know what I'm saying? And he got to the point where I think when he got all that time, he was trying to get the death penalty because he seen when he got to prison how you had to live in prison, how it was predominantly black and it was predominantly gangs and they was violent and they was on white boys and they was, extorting them. They was, trying to take their manhood. He couldn't deal with that. So he chose a little weak white guy to take his life to try to escape during that time. That's my opinion. And you talking about from somebody who was right there. I was there. You know what I'm saying? I barely saw this dude, come out of his cell. Matter of fact, where my cell was, I was upstairs. He was right down below me. Peanut was on the same block too. So when they do discover the murder, like they say too, that he came out and taunted the police, he ain't do none of that. He ain't do none of that, man. He probably did that after he was cuffed up and took out. He ain't was like, man, this man in my cell, he did, I killed him. He ain't do none of that. They didn't even know. They just like, what they do that with his medicine? Because medical kept saying, why isn't this dude coming to get his medicine? And they went to his cell, and that's how they discovered that. And then they ended up finding everybody that was on that shift, everybody, the watch commander, the officers, everybody, got fired so they could, cover their tracks up. That's what they do. You know what I'm saying? But all in all, he won't like that. You know what I'm saying? Like they're making him out like that. He may have, like I say, people will be in prison. They will be serial killers on the street. There'll be big drug dealers on the street. They be pistol poppers on the street. You know what I'm saying? Gang bangers. Bro, it's different in that penitentiary, man. You in that penitentiary, on your own. If you ain't gonna push that, if you can't get in with these, man, all that stuff is non and void. They don't care what you did. You know what I'm saying? He couldn't survive on that yard, and that's why he did what he did. That's my opinion, you know what I'm saying? But this is the documentary, and this is what they're saying. Like I say, I know 4 or 5 of these dudes that's in this particular video. He's just one of them, but I'm here to tell you, he won't like that. Then he went and did something else, and I'm going to explain to you what I know about that situation as well. But let's get back to it and see what they talking about.
Prosecutors in Wise County charged him with capital murder.
Oh, I don't know nothing about skipping these commercials. I had to do that. Okay, skip. Okay.
Gleason waived his right to counsel, represented himself, and pleaded guilty on July 28, 2010, insisting on the death penalty. The judge sentenced him to death, but before execution could proceed, the Virginia Department of Corrections transferred him to Red Onion State Prison, the state's supermax facility in Wise County, designed for the most unmanageable inmates with 23-hour solitary confinement in isolated pods. Even at Red Onion, under the strictest security protocols, including constant monitoring and minimal human contact, Gleason remained defiant. On July 28, 2010, shortly after his arrival, he murdered his 26-year-old neighboring inmate, Aaron Alexander Cooper, who was serving time for robbery and assault. Gleason flooded his cell to draw guards' attention, then used a piece of cloth smuggled through the food slot to strangle Cooper during a brief recreation period in adjacent outdoor cages, where a small opening allowed access. He held Cooper's head against the fence and choked him for 15 minutes until he died, later telling investigators he did it to prove his threats were serious and to expedite his execution. Cooper, unaware of Gleason's intentions, had no prior conflict with him. Charged again with capital murder in Wise County, Gleason once more pleaded guilty on September 1st, 2011, representing himself and demanding death, stating in open court that he would continue killing inmates or guards if not executed promptly. Gleason's appeals process moved swiftly due to his insistence on waiving delays. The Virginia Supreme Court upheld both death sentences in 2012, rejecting claims of incompetence despite psychological evaluations, noting his personality disorders, but affirming his rational understanding of proceedings. Governor Bob McDonnell denied clemency, citing the calculated nature of the prison killings. On January 16, 2013, at age 42, Gleason was executed by electric chair at Greensville Correctional Center in Girard, Virginia, the method he specifically requested over lethal injection, becoming one of the last in the U.S. to die this way. Strapped into the oak chair built in 1908, he received 2 cycles of 1500 volts, pronounced dead at 9:08 p.m. His final words reiterated satisfaction with the outcome, claiming he had forced the system's hand. Gleason's tenure at Red Onion, though brief, highlighted his extreme danger. As a calculated killer who viewed murder as a tool to manipulate his fate, he posed an unparalleled threat in a facility meant to contain such risks. His actions not only claimed 4 lives, but also exposed vulnerabilities in even the most secure prisons, where his determination to die by state hands led him to exploit any opportunity for violence. Authorities classified him as one of the most perilous inmates due to his lack of deterrence, willingness to kill without personal grudge, and public vows to persist, underscoring why supermax isolation failed to neutralize his resolve. Number 6. Joaquin
See, that's this man, this is crazy, right? The way that they do these things and the way that they present this
Shadow
stuff, man. Hold
Ramsey.
up. The way they present this stuff to y'all, right, is a lot to be you know what I'm saying? It's a lot going on, man. Hold up. I'm trying to make myself bigger in this situation, but it's not working out like that. But hold up. Boom. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, man, but I'm just trying to let y'all know, right, the inside story of this, man. And the inside story is that, you know, this dude, he really won't like that. They'll try to make it out to y'all like he was a great, crazy, uncontrollable killer or whatnot. And like I say, he killed people, but we in the penitentiary. There's a whole lot of people in the penitentiary to kill people. It's just killers everywhere you look, all around you. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference of being in prison. There's killers everywhere, right? This dude was scared to come out of his cell, man. Now that second dude that he killed at Red Onion, what they're leaving out is that he killed the dude through the fence. He killed the dude with trickeration. He had handmade necklaces. People make stuff in there. He told the dude he was giving him necklace, but let me measure your neck to see if it fits. And the dude, being green, young, as they said, I forget what they say, like 26, he green. He sat down on the fence. When we in these cages, it's like dog cages. They right beside each other. You know what I'm saying? You could talk to each other, but it's through a fence. So he sat down and let the dude put the thing around his neck and try to tell him, let me measure it. And then he sat down against the fence. But little did he know, dude was diabolical and had plans on, taking his life. He didn't know nothing about dude. He didn't know nothing about his history. He was just being trusted. So the dude, when he get the thing around his neck, he just pulled onto it against the fence and braced himself up against the fence. And the dude can't get out. He can't get out. He can't get away. And he just held the man for 10, 15 minutes, choked the man to death. You see what I'm saying? So they ain't telling y'all. They acting like he just was so, dangerous, so diabolical, so people was afraid of him. Man, I was on the block with him and I didn't even know he existed. You understand me? Because if he'd have came out in that part where they get down there with one of them and act like he was trying to kill somebody, he wouldn't have had to wait for the electric chair. They would have took him, slam up out of there. That day that he came out there with that tomfoolery, but he didn't do that. Told you, I'm telling you what I know. He laid in that cell. He was afraid. He killed the old man. Then he went and killed the young green dude that ain't no better. You know what I'm saying? So if anything, he was smart. He knew how to move and what to do to duck during that time, bro. That just lets you know how hard it is to be in prison. People would rather die than be in prison. You know what I'm saying? He was too coward to kill himself, so he killed other people that was not able to defend themselves just to make sure that the state killed him. That's the way he chose to go out. Because if he was just a so-called real-life killer, he'd have picked that Bethlehem up and came out in the park and got to holler some derogatory statements to some brothers or some gang crazy stuff, and he'd have got dealt with. You know what I'm saying? It's a different law in the penitentiary, man. You know, only the strong gonna survive, man. You can't talk your way through it, and they don't nobody care what you did on the street, who you killed on the street. Can you stand man to man, mano and bang it out with that Bethlehem and come out on top? He won't one of them dudes. You understand? Now, it's some of them in this thing that they talking about, one in particular, he one of them dudes. You see what I'm saying? But like I say, I know a couple of these dudes. You know, the first one that came on screen, like I say, I knew him too. You know what I'm saying? And Bo said that, you know, I can tell you some things about him that Bo told me personally about him when they was out of state in Chicago. He was there with Bo. You know what I'm saying? He needed Bo to survive. You did. So yeah, man, but they give y'all these, this is how they give it to you in the news and stuff. This is the way they can justify doing the things that they do inside the penitentiary, treating us the way that they treat us in there, to act like we, you know what I'm saying, we so, you know, crazy and out of our mind and just psychopathic killers, and you know what I'm saying, they too dangerous for America. Man, some of these dudes ain't nothing but some cupcakes. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about real live cupcakes with frosting on top. He was one of them. You know what I'm saying? And I don't like to talk about the dead, but I'm just saying, I never liked the situation of the fact that he did that to that little old white guy who I felt was harmless. You know what I'm saying? That old little white dude could have cussed me out and whatever. He could have called me the N-word, just then I would have did nothing to him because I couldn't get no points over that. And I knew he was harmless. You know what I'm saying? Versus a big, barely strong dude or able-bodied dude talk to me like that. Man, he gonna get the business ASAP. But you don't get no points for doing nothing to no dude like that, or no young green dude who ain't know no better, who couldn't defend himself because you tricked him out of his life. You see what I'm saying? So anyway, man, that's just my opinion. I wanted to give y'all that, man, because, you know, everybody kept telling me to react to it. Y'all let me know if you want more reactions. Let me know if you want more reactions to the rest of the dudes in this video, and which one y'all talk to me quick before I forget. Because I'm going to give it to you just like that. You heard me? Y'all stand up, TBP Nation, man. We out here, man. We going to bring you the real. Don't get no realer than this right here, man. Love is love, man. Y'all be safe, be smart, make good decisions. Duck them hooks and duck the penitentiary. It's diabolical on both ends. And the convict end, the inmate end, and the administration. It ain't nothing to be in. Ain't nowhere you ever want to be. Please believe me. We gone.
The banky special.
Yeah.
Pure deliciousness.
Pure deliciousness, man. My name is Banky, man. Everybody calls me Banky. That's the name that I got from my grandmother when I was young. I'm coming out here after 30 years. Yeah, I ain't got nothing, but I'm gonna have something because I'm rich in personality. You know, and I'm rich in love. My family love me, and that's really all that counts.